Well, it has been a glorious regular season up to this point here on the peninsula, and tonight, the 17th and final game of the 2022 campaign for the UMass Boston Beacons. 12 Beacons seniors celebrating their final collegiate regular season game here at Cotter Field. You can see family members, parents running onto the field right now as we have 12 Beacons celebrating senior night. The opponent tonight, the New England College Pilgrims, a 6-9 team, undefeated in their own conference, but another opportunity for the Beacons to show off what they have as they head in to the LEC Conference Tournament and potentially, and I'm knocking on wood as I say this, an NCAA Division III tournament appearance. One final game to tie a bow on the regular season, if you will. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. My name is Chris Del Sordo, bringing you the action from high atop James Cotter Field. The 14-2 UMass Boston Beacons receiving national votes upon multiple polls. Two separate polls have them in the top 10 in New England. They have been in the NEILA top 10 rankings for the past 3 weeks now. And just this week, they entered the top 10 of the NCAA Region 1, Division III Region 1, that is New England, top 10, checking the number 10 spot. This is a team clicking on all cylinders right now. A lot of goal scorers producing their best work. This is a Beacons team that has won their last 4 contests, and the last 3 wins, rather impressive, outscoring their opponents by a combined 40 goals across their last 3 victories. We can see the festivities out on the field right now. We mentioned it's senior night. Here are the 12 Beacons playing in their final regular season game. Once again, we still have postseason action coming up here. 3 grad students. Donovan Przinski currently sitting on a 36-point season. He's 4 goals away. Now that's a tough mark to reach. Donovan, a bit of a distributor, but if he gets 4 goals, that is a 2020 season for the grad student out of Ashland, Massachusetts. A very pleasant surprise, a ball-moving, attacking midfielder for the Beaks. Joe Myers, another talented midfielder from Carmel, New York. Played in 15 games this season, 12 points on the year, 9 goals and 3 assists. He'll suit it up for the final time here at Cotter Field for regular season play. Jack Dobrzinski, the ultra-impressive face-off man. He leads the team in ground balls with 95. 9 points on the season. He has 2 goals and 7 assists from West Greenwich, Rhode Island, playing in his final collegiate game. So those were the 3 grad students. 9 seniors as well. The Palin twins, Chris and Matt Palin, both from West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Chris, with 9 games played on the season, he has chalked up an assist and has won 12 ground balls. Matt, 14 games played, and he has 4 points this season, 2 goals and 2 assists. Connor Lenfest, an injury-shortened season, a phenomenal player, an ultra-talented player out of Waltham, Mass., celebrating his senior night tonight. Number 13, Jack Ranta, who is going to get the start for the Beacons at Lawn Stick Midi. He's played in all 16 games this season. 1 assist on the year, 10 caused turnovers, and he has scooped up 23 ground balls. A very good defensive-oriented midfielder for the Beaks. A.J. Rinaldi also getting the start today from Wellesley, Mass. 8 games played on the season. He has scooped up 7 ground balls and has caused 4 turnovers. The dynamic duo, 2 of the 3 best offensive players for the Beacons this season, are playing their final game this evening. One of the 2, Michael Claflin, a true senior out of Newton, Massachusetts, entering today with 110 career points. He has 37 assists, 43 goals on this season for a clean 80 points. And his partner in crime, Dara Fahey out of Walpole, Mass. Dara comes into action with 162 career points. You never know, he might be able to hit that 170 mark with a big day today. Also, some milestone watching for Dara Fahey, which we will get into in a second, but he is 3 points away from 8th all-time on the Beacons scoring list, and if he were to get 7 points today, he would go into 7th place in the Beacons all-time scoring list. Gil Delvi, a midfielder out of Chelsea, Mass. He has racked up 8 assists in the 14 games he has played this season, and he will get the start today. And finally, Robert Sprague, who probably would have been getting the start anyway for celebratory purposes for senior night, but he has more or less won the starting defensive job over the course of this season. The senior out of Wakefield, Rhode Island, 2 assists, 7 ground balls, and 8 caused turnovers. So one more time from the broadcast crew here at the Beacon Broadcasting Network, congratulations and happy senior night to Donovan Przinski, Joe Myers, and Jack Dobrzinski, Chris Palin, Matt Palin, Connor Lenfest, Jack Ranta, A.J. Rinaldi, Michael Claflin, Dara Fahey, Gil Delvi, and Robert Sprague a very happy senior night. And we still have lacrosse to get to. It is the 6-9 NEC Pilgrims. They play in the NECC. That is a 3-school conference. They play alongside Bethany and Mitchell colleges. They're 4-0 in their 2 games apiece against those 2 schools. And it's funny when you take a look at how they got there on the season. They had a 7-game losing streak. They won their first game of the season and they lost 7 in a row. They were outscored in those games 90-31. A bit of a look in the mirror moment as a team. They've ramped it up. And prior to their last game, which was a close-fought 6-9 loss to Wheaton, they were on a 4-game winning streak. And in those 4 games, they outscored their opponents 93-19. So when this team is clicking, they are quite a force as an opposition. They have a key goal-scoring trio, and it's led by a sophomore. His name's Lucas Ferreri. He's a Canadian, a member of the junior Canadian national team. 38 goals on the season for Lucas, 27 assists, and he leads the team with 65 points. True freshman joining him with attacking prowess, number 2, Thomas Norton. He's actually from Mansfield, Massachusetts. He has 33 goals and 14 assists on the season. And the final member of that goal-scoring trio, a junior named Sam Crary from Newburyport, Mass. 31 goals on the season for Sam, 7 assists, bringing his season total to 38 points. They're helped out by a table setter in the form of senior midfielder, one of the few seniors on this team, number 13, Josh Owen. 4 goals on the season, nothing to sneeze at, but 27 assists. 4 goals to 27 assists. That is how he has 31 points on the season. Honestly, it probably must be a joy playing with Josh Owen, the eyes that he has and the way he can distribute the ball. Starting in net for the Pilgrims today will be Michael Catalano. He's a sophomore out of Norwood, Massachusetts. He's split time with the freshman goalie Connor Almstrom, but Catalano has more or less won the job over the course of the season for the Pilgrims. In 7 games started, he has gone 4-3. That's better than Almstrom's mark of 2-6 in his 8 starts. Catalano has allowed just 9.28 goals per contest and has a 55% save percentage. Trevor Coppy going to get the start in net for the Beacons. That's his first start in 3 games. The Beaks have been rolling with a bit of a goaltender by committee approach, with both Otto Kierleys and Christian Meinhold getting a lot of playing time. One more picture it looks like out here in the middle of Cotter Field for our 12 seniors. Let's run through the starting lineups for this afternoon's contest. First, for the Pilgrims from New England College, we mentioned Thomas Norton. Ultra-talented freshman, 33 goals on the season. He gets the start at the attack. Thomas Doe, a sophomore midfielder out of Windham, New Hampshire. Number 8, Joseph Pricken. He is a senior long-stick midi from North Jersey. David Benjamin, senior defenseman out of Wilmot, New Hampshire. Sam Crary, the big junior goal scorer, doesn't get a lot of assists, but he finds twine quite a bit. 31 goals on the season for Crary. Lucas Ferreira, the all-everything player on the attack, a sophomore out of Brampton, Ontario, Canada. 6'3", hard to miss and hard to stop. Michael Catalano gets the start in goal for New England College. He wears number 33, a sophomore out of Norwood, Mass. Quinn Bartish from Norwalk, Connecticut, senior midfielder wearing number 35. Andrew Norwegian on the defense, 6'4" senior out of East Lyme, Connecticut. And Jake Secariccio, a junior long stick midi out of Derry, New Hampshire, going to round out the starting lineup for the New England College Pilgrims. We're playing the anthem here at Cotter Field, so we'll take a quick break. When the anthem finishes, we'll come back, read you the Beacon starters, and get into it. It's senior night, one final game in the 2022 regular season for the Beaks, coming up right after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. Bit of a smaller crowd by end of season standards, and honestly a bit of a colder night for the end of April. Temperatures in the low 50s right now. They'll probably dip down into the upper 40s by the time this game is done tonight. But the crowd that is here making some noise as their 14-win and 2-loss UMass Boston Beacons line up against the NEC Pilgrims. For the Beaks, Chris Palin will get the start at defense. Gavin Admiran, Jack Ranta, Patrick Carey, AJ Rinaldi, Michael Claflin, Trevor Coppi in goal, Jacob Banks, Gil Delvi, and Jack Dobrzinski in the face-off circle. Those are the starting Beacons for senior night, and you can see as you see the players making their way onto the midfield area here at Cotter Field, just littered with seniors. I'm rolling down the starting lineup, and it looks like just 2 non-seniors, and that's going to be Trevor Coppi, the goalie, along with Patrick Carey, the defender. Everyone else here, Jacob Banks is a sophomore as well, but everyone else getting the senior day start. One of the aforementioned seniors, Jack Dobrzinski, lining up in the center circle, gets down low and chops at it, still loose, fighting with number 35, Quint Bartish in the center circle, kicked out by Delvi, who gives chase. A little bit of a ward there, and it's still on the ground, kicked forward. Delvi circling back around. Gil had it in his stick, lost it, and it's finally scooped up by Matt Palin. So after all that, the Beacons do win the opening face-off today. Delvi in the slot, low shot, it's saved. Out in front on the play, and scooped back up by the Pilgrims, who will quickly take it the other way. Delvi hasn't scored yet, 8 assists on the season. He had a good look towards the middle of the net there. Couldn't deposit it as Catalano goes low and makes the save, but right after that, turnover forced. It's actually AJ Rinaldi, the senior out of Wellesley, Mass, coming in getting the senior night start. He forces the turnover, gives it right back to Trevor Coppi, and back go the Beaks, and onto the field comes senior Dara Fahey with some momentum. Beats his man, left-handed shot off the dodge. It's blocked before it even gets to Catalano, but it goes right back to Fahey. He circles it back to Joe Myers. Myers over to Claflin. Claflin running, looking for the angle, passes it towards the middle, towards Banks, and it's finally scooped up, taken out of trouble by Jack Secariccio for the Pilgrims. So 2 rather sloppy starts here for the Beaks as they're able to run it right into the teeth of the Pilgrims' defense, but not really get a shot off or really a threatening shot either time. And back quickly going with the other way is T.J. Nong, senior midfielder with 11 goals on the season for the Pilgrims. He'll work it back to Josh Owen. We mentioned Owen in the pregame. He has 27 assists on the season to just 4 goals. You talk about a selfless player. That's the textbook definition of that right there. He gets it all the way back, really outside of the offensive zone, just back into neutral midfield. TJ Nong, bit of a run in from the right-handed dodge. Nothing there, so behind the net they go. And here's Thomas Norton, 33 goals in this his true freshman season. Over to Devin Sager. Sager, Philadelphia native. Back to Norton, and they'll work this little 2-man game here as NEC, long opening possession here, their first trip sustained into the Beacons' offensive zone. Dodging in is Josh Owen. 4 goals, but 27 assists. He stops his dodge, circles it back around. The Pilgrims are going to have just 14 seconds to shoot here. Lucas Ferreira puts his body into it, and that pass is going to skip all the way back out to midfield. This is going to have to be a long shot attempt. Nong, I don't know if he knows he's going to launch it into the corner, and that's a wise play to just kill the shot clock and give the ball back to the Beacons, but the Beacons will have to stay and walk it in from the back corner. So that might be part of the strategy here for NEC. They know that they're going to have to keep this low scoring with extended possessions as Chris Palin charges it into the offensive zone, and he'll stay as one of the attack men before handing it off to Charlie Chapman. NEC's best chance is to slow this game down, stretch their possessions out as long as possible, and obviously the Beacons, if this game had Vegas lines, would be the favorite, I would think, in this contest. I think they all know that, do the Beacons here. So no need to really speed up their own game, but they have an NEC team across from them that has no problem with them taking their time. Fahey sees a bit of a zone mark here as that's number 9, David Benjamin, the long stick midi, causing some trouble, and that pass across the defense. It got over to Jacob Banks. His shot gets blocked. It's still on the ground. Banks finally scoops up the ground ball, so that's going to be 2 ground ball wins for Banks. He'll hand it back to Fahey. We're 3.5 minutes into this contest, and with the exception of the one shot from Gil Delvi, we've seen really no true goal-scoring action. Here's Charlie Chapman around the perimeter of the defense. He had Banks towards the middle. Wow, that pass got through, and it's deposited into the back of the net by Claflin. That's going to be an assist for Chapman. The pass was intended for Banks. Banks couldn't catch it. Claflin did, and falling to the ground, Claflin goes 5-hole for the first goal of this contest on senior night. The senior from Newton, Massachusetts, Michael Claflin gets the first goal, his 44th of the season, goal number 44 of the year, and it comes from a Charlie Chapman assist. Beacons lead 1-0. Back in play we go. This time it's a face-off won cleanly by number 34, Quint Bartos. So he's good presence in the face-off circle here. He wins more than 52% of his face-offs, and he is 1-1 this afternoon. So NEC bouncing back from allowing that first goal, winning the face-off. They take it deep into the teeth of the Beacons, but now circle it back. They're going to change their 6 offensive players in the zone here, as Fednor Drury gets his first action today. He has it in his stick, right-handed pass, deep around the defense they go. Thomas Norton now from behind the net, over to Sam Crary. Beacons really stretching out the Pilgrims here as they go wide around the perimeter. Drury running in, shot rips wide. Cobby didn't get the stick on it, shot missed, but the closest player to it is Thomas Norton, so the Pilgrims are going to walk it in from behind the net. Shot missed everything, so just 39 seconds on the shot clock. Michael Claflin, his 44th goal of the season, has the Beacons up 1-0 right now. Not quite sure what happened there as that pass just scooted right on past Josh Owen into the Beacons attacking zone, and was that going to be offsides on the Beaks? Yes, so we're going to have to walk this one back, will Jacob Banks. Now we are back in play here. Beacons with a fresh shot clock, a 1-0 lead. And Donovan Brzezinski seeing his first action of the afternoon as the Beaks, once again, a really measured, deliberate approach to the start of this senior night game here. Fahey on the left wing fields a double team, but he beats it with a dodge. He might have someone open down low. Instead, not the best pass to Brzezinski. He scoops it up off the turf. Donovan running along the baseline here. Flips it over to Admiran. Admiran back to Brzezinski, and it's Donovan Brzezinski going top shelf, top left corner. He beats Catalano. It's the 17th goal of the season, and it brings up something very interesting. We'll give Gavin Admiran the assist for that goal. Donovan Brzezinski came into action today with 17 goals, Charlie Chapman with 18. If they were to both reach the 20-goal mark, they would be the Beacons, one of just 3 teams in NCAA Division III history with 7 different 20-goal scorers. That's the first step of 5 more goals that we're going to have to see tonight, but history potentially on the horizon for the Beaks as Brzezinski scores the second goal of the afternoon. McNeely wins the faceoff, hands it off to Luke Murphy, and Murph will start the Beaks offense, starting to catch its roll here on this senior night at Cotter Field, leading 2-0. Patrick McCoy makes his way off for Charlie Chapman. Charlie would need to score 2 goals tonight to hold up his end of the deal. That's Chad Kidd looking for Chapman. Not the best pass. Charlie had to reach out to get it, but he ends up setting a pick. It's going to get picked up by Admiran. He slips it over to Charlie, who will scoop it up on the baseline. Now he'll do his work from Gavin's normal spot behind the net. Admiran back out deep on the left wing to Chapman. Charlie, that shot bounced, I believe, off the helmet of Jake Segaricio. It'll be tracked down by Jacob Banks, and he'll walk it back in from the left of the goal. Catalano quickly becomes set as Banks goes right out to the middle of the point. Chapman fakes the shot, hands it off to Kidd. Chad Kidd, left-handed dodge, floats a pass directed towards Chapman. It doesn't get through. It does get through to Admiran, who tried to go with a funky shot past the goalie. Now the ball's back into the crease, and it will be comfortably scooped up by Catalano. That was a missed opportunity by the Beacons right there, as Admiran normally takes care of business that close to the net. Couldn't get the shot off as he went with, I don't know if it was over the shoulder or behind the back or what, but it didn't come out clean. And now Nicholas Durain sprinting back into the Beacons offensive zone, hands it off to Sager. They go down low, and that is an easy goal for Lucas Ferreira. He's a great player. He has 39 goals now on the season, and that was too easy as Devin Sager, not used all that often by the Pilgrims, picks up the assist. The Pilgrims get one back, and we're back to a 2-1 contest. Team leading 39 goals for the Canadian national player Lucas Ferreira. And that was too easy. We mentioned he has a very big frame. He was 6'3", some decent speed, but he just used that body, that large size frame, and good positioning to get that easy shot. Push from behind there from Jack Ranta, and it doesn't even win possession. Instead, Thomas Doe taking it back the other way for the Pilgrims, who are hanging tough in the early going in this contest. We're 6 minutes, 40 seconds into the first quarter. Beacons leading 2-1. Donovan Przinski, Michael Claflin, the 2 goal scorers so far. But a very patient, very well-executed offensive approach here from New England College, who looks to be in no rush. We saw them completely drain a shot clock already. Around the perimeter they go, and Fednor Drury has it. Beacons a bit slipped out of position on their lateral rotation here. TJ Nong thinking about a shot. Wow, great save by Trevor Coppy. That one got deflected on the way in. Coppy had to change his stick level. He scoops it for a big save for the junior out of Rhode Island. Now looking ahead to Gil Del Valle, he lofts it through. Here comes the senior out of Chelsea. In the middle of the defense, thought about maybe kind of dodging it for himself. Instead, he'll hand it back off to Luke Murphy, who gives it to Donovan Przinski. Donovan just scored from that spot earlier today for the Beaks. He'll cycle it back out. Final regular season game for Donovan and Michael Claflin. Nice to see them already finding twine. Sure, Dara Fahey would love to find twine for himself here. Admiran reverses course. Thought about the shot, instead gives it back to Fahey. They'll work a 2-man game. Dara, cross zone pass to Banks, and it's a sidewind ripper for Jacob Banks. Goal number 31 of the season for the sophomore. The youngest player in the starting lineup for the Beaks. He finds twine. Beacons score for the 3rd time today. 7:07 left on the clock, and UMass Boston leads 3-1. What a year for Jacob Banks, just a sophomore out of Westminster, Massachusetts. Showed a little bit of promise and some playing time in that shortened season last year, but I don't think anyone expected 31 goals. Another face-off win here, and that was Bartush, but he got dispossessed on the play by a great defensive effort there from A.J. Rinaldi. The aforementioned Rinaldi gets it in the middle of the field, and not a good executed pass there. Zach Mann had something if he would have been able to complete the catch from Rinaldi. Instead, it's a turnover. The 4th neutral field turnover by the Beacons in the early going today. They have a 3-1 lead. Haven't been that crisp in getting that 3-1 lead. Fednor Drury and Josh Owen, we've seen them work this 2-man game from way far out away from the net, and then both come in with a lot of pace. Behind the net, it's Norton. Sam Crary goes back out to TJ Nong. Nong and Drury. Now this is what I'm talking about. This 2-man look from deep, and then Drury's momentum gets some room open in the middle of the defense, but it's wisely picked up and scooped out of the way by Patrick McCoy. But his pass intended for Banks, a little too hot and heavy for Banks to handle. It gets past him. And the 5th turnover here in the first quarter by the Beaks, 3 of them unforced errors, if you will. That could have been a dangerous play there, as that pass almost got behind Michael Catalano. He has to contort his body and reach completely behind him to field it cleanly. He'll walk this one out, and they try to loop something down the sideline. Instead, the pass is intercepted by Admiran. Is the net open? He goes to Banks. Oh, what a huge save from Catalano. He got back in time and reached up into the top corner of the net to keep that one out of trouble. That is a big play, the second big save of the afternoon for the sophomore out of nearby Norwood, Mass. TJ Nong dispossessed on the play, and not knowing that he knocked the ball loose was Jack Ranta, so it'll stay with the Pilgrims, and Josh Owen now going to try and take on Ranta. Number 13 on number 13. Dangerous pass in the middle of the field, but it's won cleanly by Lucas Ferreira. He has 1 goal today. Dodges past everyone, tries to get the shot off, and a great individual defensive effort there by Luke Murphy. Keeps the ball in the stick of Ferreira. Now Luke is going to direct traffic as plan A was cut off. He'll take on Murphy with a 1-on-1 mark. He beats him with a right-handed dodge, now spins, but Murphy recovers. Great on-the-ball defense from Luke Murphy. Ball has to get sent back out to TJ Nong, and the Pilgrims now shut down on that offensive attack. That pass gets away from the intended player, and it will be a turnover. That was a great defensive possession by the Beaks. NEC used about 60 seconds off the shot clock before really an ill-fated pass that was destined to be a turnover goes out of bounds. Just 3 goals still in the first quarter here for the Beaks, a team that's utilized big offensive explosions to win their leads. Chapman gets dispossessed, but then he takes the ball right back away from Joseph Pricken. Robert Sprague there picks it up. He'll walk back across the midfield line as the Beaks get their 6 offensive personnel ready. Charlie Chapman, solo dodge. Oh, wow, I think that was a pass intended for Banks that Banks didn't catch, and then it was saved by Catalano. Heads up play there by Michael Catalano. Looking very impressive in the early going here. Big collision from Chapman in the middle of the field. He clobbers Thomas Doe, who is down, loses his helmet, shaken up on the play. And, wow, you can see he's feeling it right now. He throws off the helmet, throws off the gloves, just trying to get his bearings straight as he is down on one knee. And, you can see Charlie Chapman down on one knee himself. It was a heads-up play, had to deliver the hit. Believe everything looked legal, but that's a player, Thomas Doe, that, gosh, that did not look good the way he responded after feeling that hit. Doe, a sophomore, out of Windham, Massachusetts. Pretty solid contributor this season for the Pilgrims. He has 8 points, 6 of them via assist. He scooped up 64 ground balls, so that is his role, just kind of mucking it up in the middle of the field. He's back up, holding his helmet in his left hand, with an assistant coach with the rest of his equipment. Not a big crowd here at Cotter Field this afternoon, but everyone in attendance gave a nice round of applause for Thomas Doe. And we'll keep you posted on his return to the game if it's possible at all. He is very slowly making his way off the turf here. Can't quite tell the number making his way onto the field. That's going to be 13. That's going to be Josh Owen. So a player who usually is on the field now on the defensive side of it, offering his support in defense for the Pilgrims. Around the perimeter, the Beaks go Admirand to Claflin to Chad Kidd. Chad, senior out of Natick, Mass. He'll be back for next season. Hands a pass off to Chapman. Chapman fakes back to his left. Now he does spin back to his left. Now he'll set up a pass. Wow, it almost got in there to Admirand. It does get to Gavin. Gavin back across to Myers. He'll hand it off to Claflin, who rips off the post. Wow, a laser beam from the low to high shot from Michael Claflin. Everything but the finish there as Claflin pings off the left post. He had Catalano beat, so the Beacons will try again. 60 on the shot clock now. Claflin down low to Admiran, on the doorstep, back to Kidd. Kidd dodges inside, high to low shot. It's saved by Catalano, his 3rd save of the afternoon. The Beacons a very good, a turnover in midfield here, but it's not scooped up by Rinaldi. Can Spray get to it? No. Ball is still loose. Kidd throws his body in the mix, and now Rinaldi picks it up, and here come the Beaks. They have numbers. Chapman looking toward the middle of the field. Gets it to Myers. Myers working on David Benjamin, and now he'll circle back, let the 6th offensive player make his way onto the offensive side of the field. Kidd over to Chapman. Beacons leading 3-1. Slow-paced game this afternoon here at Cotter Field. Claflin fakes the shot, looks at Admiran, jump shot, and he hits the top left corner. Gavin Admiran, how do you do? A phenomenal goal-scoring season. Goal number 53 on the year for the senior out of Marshfield. And guess what, folks? He's going to be back next year, too. That's going to be a sight to see. Gavin Admiran, his 53rd goal of the season, and it puts the Beacons up 4-1 over NEC on senior night here at Cotter Field. Beautiful look there. Whenever you see Gavin Admiran right on the doorstep like that, that's where he likes to be. And when he has a head full of steam curling towards the net around the corner, it's almost as good as goal every time. Dobrzinski tried to slip a pass in through the Pilgrims defense to Admiran. Nice effort there by Gavin. I think he tried to make it look like that was a shot that he was running after, but the referee saw it. That was going to be a pass all the way. And so it's a turnover. The 6th turnover here in the first quarter for the Beacons. Decent start for the Beaks. You know, you can never complain when you're up 4-1 in the first quarter, but they've left a lot out there on the field, including the 6 turnovers here in the first quarter. Sure, that's going to be talked about at some point this week, moving into playoff time. Another turnover, though, forced by the Beaks, and once again, it's A.J. Rinaldi scooping it up in midfield. Claflin looks ahead to Banks. Banks has Admiran cutting through. Wow, he almost got the crossfield pass to Banks, but it's a beautiful play by David Benjamin. We've seen some good work out of David at the defensive spot. A 6'3" and senior out of Wilmot, New Hampshire. Coming back the other way is Joey Olson with a head full of steam right into the slot. His pass is behind Ferreira. Ooh, the Pilgrims had something there. Instead, the Beacons were able to buckle down, and they let that ball get all the way deep into their offensive zone, but Ferreira couldn't get the shot off. And now Copy taking his time, walking it back towards the offensive zone. Rinaldi going to reverse course, give it back to Trevor. He slips a pass into Dara Fahey. 56 points on the season for Dara, 33 goals, 23 assists. And here's Donovan Przinski, scored the game's first goal. Passes it to Luke Murphy. Murphy thought about that right-handed shot for a second. Instead, around the perimeter, they'll go again. Claflin to Fahey. Fahey fakes the pass. Goes down low to Admirand. To Claflin. Oh, no look pass to Fahey. He goes through the legs, and he almost finishes it. That would have been so beautiful there, the tic-tac-toe. But it's quickly picked up on the play by Banks. Banks walking it in, spinning. Can't get past his dodge. He'll go back to Dara Fahey. Fahey, right-handed cradle, fakes the shot, lowers the shoulder, gets the pass into Banks, and Banks didn't see it. Turnover deep in the offensive zone by the Beaks, their 7th of this first quarter. But then NEC gives it right back again. Wow. It's weird to see a game played this sloppy, this deep. I mean, this is the final regular season game for both teams here at Cotter Field, and 7 turnovers already committed by the Beaks, but has to be just as many by NEC up to this point. Przinski going to let it rip. He misses wide to the right. Looks like both Banks and Admiran were closest to. Just 17 seconds left here in the first quarter. Beacons trying to score their 5th goal here as they lead 4-1. Admiran gets wound in. And instead of passing it, he's going to walk it out to this spot where he's very dangerous at, the deep the deep side of that near slot. Banks goes with a low to high shot that misses well high, but that took just 10 seconds to get the shot off, so the Beaks will have 6 seconds here to try and get one last look on net. Clock is wound. Fahey walks it into play. He'll look deep to Przinski. Donovan, can he get the shot off? He gets it to Fahey. Fahey! Did he get it in time? Let's see. Yes, he did. Right at the buzzer. It's Przinski to Dara Fahey, and Dara scores his 34th goal of the year, his first of this senior night, and the Beaks at the buzzer literally score their 5th goal, and they will head to the first quarter break with a 5-1 lead. Beacons 5, Pilgrims 1. More after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. We'll take you back here to midfield at James Cotter Field as we'll get this second quarter started off with a classic face-off. Unfortunately, we told you it was 5-1 as we headed into the break. They turned that goal back around. Do not count the goal from Dara Fahey. About a split second too late. It was scored before the air horn sounded, but that sounded... it's not automatic with the clock. And so the refs got together, they talked about it. It did seem like that might have taken a bit longer than 6 seconds. And so the score remains 4-1. Beacons 4, Pilgrims 1. Nice job there by Jason McNeely, keeping some momentum with the Beaks. He wins that faceoff before handing it off to Luke Murphy. So now the Beaks working right to left here in the second quarter. 4 goals, could have been 5 in the first quarter for the Beacons. The defense looks fine. It's doing a great job causing turnovers, but the Beacons are committing turnovers themselves. 7 in the first quarter. Claflin off a nice feed. Wow, tried to thread that through the Pilgrims defense, and that one was blocked by Jake Secaricio. I think he blocked it kind of unknowingly. Claflin giving chase, chopped at by Murphy. Is Murphy going to win this ground ball through 3 Pilgrims? It's still alive. Claflin coming in from the backside. Przinski fighting, and I think that's going to be a Pilgrim player, number 19, Joey Olson. He kicks it ahead. Przinski all the way back at midfield. This ground ball is still alive. It's still alive after getting chopped at by Benjamin, and finally Fahey against the sideline scoops it up to keep it in, and Dara Fahey always knows what to do with it. He'll finally calm it down. We basically can take a group exhale now as the Beacons with 75 on a fresh shot clock They give it back to Fahey. Fahey down low. Claflin had a man cutting towards the middle. That pass is read beautifully and intercepted. Again, David Benjamin, number 9, having a game to remember here. Put this one on a film tape for number 9. Another caused turnover has to be at least 4 this afternoon. And here come the Pilgrims with some holes in the Beacons' D. Instead, they'll circle it back out, and Josh Owen surveying the scene here with a one-on-one mark of Jack Ranta. Jack's played in all 17 games this season for the Beaks, celebrating senior night. Sam Crary, haven't heard much out of him. He has 33 goals on the season, just 7 assists. Fednor Drury fakes the pass. Now he'll dodge in. Left-handed cradle. He'll rip a shot that misses wide. 2 Pilgrims closest to that. And it's Lucas Ferreira picking it up. Kind of central behind the Beacons net. One-on-one, he's trying to take on Patrick Carey. Carey cuts him off. Ferreira's pass, I think, is deflected. Beautifully done there by Jack Ranta. Scooping it up, getting it out of trouble. He fakes the pass across the midfield. Now he lifts it up over the midfield and right to Luke Murphy. Murphy to Claflin. 1, 2, 3, and it's Greg Wolf just hopping on the field. He gets the pass from Claflin. He tucks it into the top right corner. And for Greg Wolf, this is another storyline. That's his 27th goal of the year. If he scores 3 more after this, he will be one of 5 Beaks with 30 goals on the season. Beautiful team passing there as Claflin gets the assist, and Greg Wolf scores his 27th goal of the season, and that does give the Beaks a 5-1 lead. Claflin, Przinski, Banks, Admirand, and Wolf, the usual suspects this time. The 5 leading goal scorers for the Beaks. 4 of the 5 leading goal scorers for the Beaks, all finding the target. Lucas Ferreira, the 1 goal scored for the Pilgrims this afternoon. Dobrzinski wins the faceoff. Palin gets it ahead to Greg Wolf. And here comes Greg, the sophomore out of Kingston, Mass, across the perimeter to Claflin. Claflin trying to get it down low to Gavin Admirand. A bit of a zone look is keeping him from doing that, so instead he goes back to Joe Myers. Myers asking to reset the 2-man game. He'll flip it over to Claflin. Claflin looks back towards Charlie Chapman. Charlie faked the long shot. He gives it to Kidd. Kidd to Wolf. Wolf goes with a low shot. Beautiful save by Catalano. It's his 4th save of the afternoon. Greg Wolf, he's so dangerous with that low delivery. That ball stayed low, and Catalano kept his stick low with it. Now he lofts a pass to David Benjamin. 2 similar-looking players with the long blonde hair as Benjamin has it waving around out of his helmet there. And not quite sure the call, but it's going to be a turnover going back the other way. Admirand tried to get a pass quickly into Claflin. Goes out of bounds off the Beaks, and they will give it right back. If you're just tuning in, 5-1. Beacons are leading. Looking good, but a bit of a sloppy offensive attack here for the Beaks. Midfield play, great. Defensive play, phenomenal. Offensive play, lacking some execution here, although Beacons still with 5 goals this afternoon. Norton, spinning on Patrick Colburn. Haven't heard a lot out of Patrick this afternoon. Never really a problem when you don't need to call a defender's name all that often. They'll circle it back. I don't think Drury was ready for it. He'll give it back to TJ Nong as the wind really starting to whip out here on the peninsula. We can hear it up against the press box here at Cotter Field. Lucas Ferreira, 1 goal already for NEC. He's searching for a 40-goal season, the sophomore out of Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Gets it out to Josh Owen. Patrick McCoy, good effort there on the front mark. Owen can't do anything with it, trying to get Drury to help him out here just to be able to slot off a pass, but McCoy knocks it free, and then scoops up the ground ball. No, he will let a teammate do that. It's Pat Carey. Carey takes it across the timeline. Man seats to him. Carey has a player in the middle of the defense. Admiran. Did that go in? Wow, it did. That's unreal. Maria, thank you for that. Good eyes next to me in the production booth. Gavin Admiran's going to be the one getting credit for that goal. Beacons are up 6-1. I'll wait and we'll let Dave Wahlberg announce who got that goal. No, it's Patrick Carey. So I thought Carey lofted the pass into Admiran, but Gavin didn't touch the ball with his stick. He let it go right past him. It gets through the net, and Patrick Carey, another goal, his 5th of the season. That is awesome. Great play out of the junior defenseman, and he deposits his 5th goal of the year. It puts the Beacons up 6-1. They win another face-off to the Beaks now, really starting to get the advantage in that department. Claflin has it, looking across the field to Chapman. Charlie, I think for a second, was thinking about that deep shot. He likes shooting it from far away there. Can make a lot happen off those long shots. Instead, he'll hand it off to Kidd. Kidd lowers the shoulder, goes to Admiran behind the net. Nothing there for Gavin, so they'll go back out to Charlie. 50 seconds still on the shot clock here for the Beaks. We're 5 minutes plus into the second quarter, and it has been all Beacons here. We thought the Beacons scored on the last play of the first quarter. That goal got disallowed. Hit from behind there against Chad Kidd will give possession back to the Pilgrims. We haven't had a true penalty in this contest yet. Nobody has had to come off. There hasn't been any differential play. Quick moving game. There was that one big hit, and we haven't seen any of Thomas Doe since that hit, but another turnover by NEC. Their defensive midfield play has been very solid, has the Pilgrims, but execution lacking for both teams in the offensive midfield, just like that right there. Because, once again, NEC just forced a midfield loose ball. They win it back. They had a chance for a 3-on-3 run, and instead Lucas Ferreira, the team's best player, can't even get the ball cleanly when it's passed to him. Kind of a lax pass attempt, and another turnover. NEC well into double digits here in this first half. Beacons lead 6-1. 21 minutes into senior night here as Chad Kidd has Claflin in the middle of the defense. His shot is blocked. He gets pummeled into the middle of the play by Nicholas Durain. Takes an extra second to peel himself up off the turf. Want to make sure the referee saw that. So Durain comes off, and that will be the first penalty we have in this contest. Michael Claflin, you've been, playing 4 years for the Beaks. You're going to take some hits in the middle. But that might have been the toughest one. He had to wear that one to force this game's first penalty. It will be against Nicholas Durain, number 21. He's a junior out of Wilder, Vermont. And so the Beacons with the man-up opportunity here, already leading 6-1. And if I'm seeing this right, I think there's multiple penalties against the Pilgrims on that play. You already had Durain coming off. Norton takes a knee. And so I'm just trying to count the players out there right now. Yeah. Double up differential right now for the Beacons. So after the one penalty ends, they'll get another man-up opportunity. So this is great. Beacons are up 6-1 right now. 2 players into the sin bin for the Pilgrims. Fahey to Claflin, that was too easy. You give a team a two-man differential like that, it looks like Norton and Durain finally going to get out of the sin bin. Or Durain's turn in the sin bin is done. Now Norton will start his penalty, but that's a man-up goal for Michael Claflin. It's his second of the afternoon and 45th of the season. And now the Beaks doing what we expected out of them, taking a 7-1 lead. So Beacons lead 7-1, 8:44 left here in the second quarter. Dobrzinski has won his last 3 trips into the face-off circle. He lifts it, make it 4 in a row as Fahey retreats, scoops it up across the timeline, and runs it in. Fahey can take this one deep into the teeth of the defense if he wants. Instead, not the best pass. Another great read from David Benjamin, who's having a game to remember, but then his pass off the stick of Joseph Pricken and kept in by Brzezinski. And how about Fahey reaching out with the left hand to keep this one alive? Dara looking back to Michael Claflin. 2 goals already for Michael. He dances around the top of the perimeter here. Keeping it in the middle of the field, looks to the right slot to Greg Wolf. Wolf has a goal already today. Greg likes to go with the left-handed cradle. And now Dara Fahey, the ever-dangerous senior out of Walpole, Mass. Looks back to Claflin. Claflin, had a ready-made opportunity for Greg Wolf, and he got a little too fancy with that pass. Went too light with his attempt to sneak the pass through. We're back at even numbers now. The one differential opportunity resulted in a goal scored by Michael Claflin. Beaks leads 7-1. Claflin, Brzezinski, Banks, Admirand, Wolf, Patrick Carey, and Claflin again in that order. Lucas Ferreira scored to make it 2-1 NEC. That's really the one offensive chance that the Pilgrims have had up to this point. Another play disrupted at midfield. That was Patrick Colburn getting in the way. And it's going to be another turnover for the Pilgrims. By my count, at least 12. Quickly getting it back in. Colburn to Carey. And here we go. Carey fakes the pass to the left. Has a man in the slot. It's Elijah Beasley. Lets it rip. It goes wide. But Claflin right there. We're halfway through quarter number 2. Beacons scored 4 in the first. Already have 3 in the second. Defense playing some phenomenal lacrosse here. And here comes Gavin Admirand. Back to Claflin. Claflin goes deep to Chapman. Chapman faked the shot, passes it over to Myers. Myers gets decked, and that was a legal play. Giving chase is Greg Wolf. He's going to win the loose ball. No, Greg Wolf commits the foul. Wow, Myers got slammed on that play, and that was a legal hit. And then Wolf coming over to try and win the ball back commits a foul. And we'll go back the other way. Michael Catalano, the team's goalie, he's going to walk it up now doing some ball handling. Was very active in the first quarter, made quite a bit of saves. Just another ill-advised pass here, trying to loft it over the entire Beaks defense. It's last touched by the Beaks. It's actually knocked out by Sprague and Chapman. So that's actually going to work. Catalano hasn't been tested as much here in the second quarter. He has been beat quite a bit. That was the first real save we've seen out of him in the second quarter. And ball going to go back the other way here. I think that might have been offsides on the Pilgrims. Hard to see that being the case, but here comes Patrick Carey. He already scored once today. Goes to Claflin. Claflin tried to slot that one from low to high. He misses wide, but Wolf is right there. Plenty of opportunities. No shortage in offensive opportunities for the Beaks. Offensive execution, a bit of a shortage. Beaks still leads 7-1. Chapman at the top left of the perimeter. Gives it to Luke Murphy in the middle of the action. Murphy directing traffic with some head fakes. Gives it to Charlie Chapman. Low to high, and that shot misses wide to the left. Once again, Beacon's closest to it. Claflin, he's kind of had his finger on the pulse of this game the most. He has 2 goals and assists right now. He slides the pass out to Donovan Brzezinski. Here's Donovan. Over to Charlie. Beacons with 40 seconds on the shot clock here as that one gets past Brzezinski. Will he be able? Yeah, he will be able to corral it in time. No pressure from the other side of the midfield line. So now Donovan gets to walk it in. Slides it over to Charlie Chapman. Gives a little shoulder fake. Chapman looking towards the center of the offense. Nobody there. Going to continue his dodge and then throws it away. Not the crispest game out of the midfielder. Sophomore out of Sandwich, Massachusetts. Seen 3 turnovers from him in the early going here. Kind of a free-flowing offense from the Beaks here. You don't normally see Charlie take a dodge behind the net like that. Like where his head was at. Going for a creative look there, but he couldn't swing a pass over, couldn't get a shot on. And let's see, we might have a timeout here. Oh, it was actually a shot clock problem, so Chapman's going to come off, man comes on, shot clock resets, TJ Nong dodging in from the perimeter, slides a pass over to Ferreira, and a great save from Copy. Ferreira gets the rebound and misses again. Another save by Copy. 2 in a row on the premier goal scorer for NEC. Trevor Copy stands tall. 2 big saves. And now Thomas Norton going to have to walk it in from behind the net. Robert Sprague applying pressure. Beacons leading 7-1. Norton chopped that from Carey. Goes the long way back to Nong. Over to Drury. Drury slips past the first defender. He's got a lane shot. Blocked by Copy. Great save on the play by Trevor Copy. Ferreira is going to win the race to the ball for NEC, and he'll walk it in. Shot clock back to 60 for the Pilgrims. We're under the 5-minute mark. Game moving very fast here at Cotter Field. We've had just 1 penalty. It did lead to a goal, sorry. Beacons 1 for 1 on differential opportunities. The most recent goal scored was a man-up goal scored by Michael Claflin. Lucas Ferreira, left-handed cradle, with his eyes towards the net. Head fake. He'll slide the pass back over to Josh Owen. Owen can't field it cleanly and circle all the way back to about the 40-yard line. Owen chops his feet, spins, can't shake the mark of Zach Mann. Good defense out of Mann. And now here's Fedner Drury. Drury lowers the shoulder. Head fake, just nothing doing. He can't get around Sprague. Ferreira, though, gets past McCoy, but he misses the shot high and wide. And let's see, I think Pat Carey might have gotten the race. No. Thomas Norton closest to it. You can hear the Beacons bench letting the referees hear it. They thought 15 was closest to it. Ball will stay in the NEC zone offensively, but just 18 on the shot clock now for the Pilgrims. Norton's going to have to hurry. He'll switch back to his right-handed cradle and spin. Looking for someone along the slot. Down low, shot is blocked, and then the save is made by Copy. That was TJ Nong who tried to get the shot off. Copy lofts a pass, Up into the middle of the field. Carey didn't see it. Ultimately does. Still fighting for it. And it's picked up by Greg Wolf. And he runs it right into trouble. Ultimately, NEC is going to win the ground ball with an advantage now. Here's Andrew Norwegian. He's going to rip one. And it misses high and wide. You can tell whenever a defender has his eyes on the prize there. Norwegian started that shot windup from about the 40-yard line of the football field. He finally got rid of it at like the 25. It misses high and wide, but it's Pilgrim's possession. Doing a good job keeping this a quick-moving game, but a slow-developing game in terms of offensive looks, really limiting the amount of chances for the Beacons and themselves with this slow pace. But it hasn't really hurt them in any means. Pass not handled cleanly by Norton. That's been a problem for the Pilgrims all day long, just not handling routine passes. But there you go. Thomas Norton gets one back for the Pilgrims. He finally gets it clean, loops around the right side of the post, and gets the goal in the top left corner. Norton, the second leading goal scorer on the team for the Pilgrims, so their top two goal scorers have found twine. The true freshman, Thomas Norton, his 34th of the season. The Pilgrims' second of the night, but the Beacons still up 7-2. The Beacons had scored 5 straight up until that point. Nice job by the true freshman stopping that streak. He contorts to go back and get that pass, and he almost had his second straight goal in about 10 seconds, but he pings right off of the top crossbar. The rebound gets back to him, and so Norton will get to walk it back in, centimeters away from his second goal in 5 seconds. Now they'll throw the hot hand Robert Sprague on him to try and cut off his angle all the way back at the 40-yard line. He'll hand it off to Drury. Drury gets through the first wave of Beacon's defenders, but gets promptly turned around. 2.5 minutes left here in the second quarter. Fast-moving game. It's senior night here. Low to high shot. Beautiful save by Trevor Coppy. He just robbed Josh Owen, but there's going to be a penalty on the backside of the play against the Beaks. I think that's going to go against Justin McCullough. Not a true penalty, just a foul there. McCullough stays on, but possession now stays with NEC. Owen has just 4 goals on the season to go along with his 27 assists. I think probably 7 times out of 10 he deposits that one, but Coppy with a beautiful save. Dodging in, Devin Sager. He had an assist on the goal scored by Ferreira. Good save there again by Trevor Coppy. That's his 5th of the night. McCullough and Coppy. Little two-man game here to get it out of the midfield zone, but the pass goes between the legs of Matt Palin. Another midfield turnover. No shortage of those for either team here. And here comes Lucas Ferreira. Gets inside, goes high, shot pings off the top right corner. There's going to be a foul against the Beacons. Play continues. Player is dispossessed. Nice play there by Justin McCullough, but the ball is going to stay in the offensive zone for the Pilgrims, and we might see the first true penalty against the Beaks. Beasley's coming off along with Matt Palin. I think if anybody committed a penalty, it would have been Matt Palin, but let's see if anyone in the sin bin. Nope, so just substitutions. We're not playing any differential lacrosse here. Ferreira waiting for the go-ahead. And no, my apologies. It is going to be against Carey, so it is a man-up opportunity for the Pilgrims. First penalty committed by the Beaks. Just 2 true penalties committed this whole game. And around the perimeter go the Pilgrims here. Josh Owen. Down low to Ferreira. Another save and another shot that at least hit. It looked like part of the post. That one careens deep out of play after it hits the far side of the post. Norton, I thought he had the angle if he wanted to dodge in. Instead, goes all the way out to Josh Owen, who is able to skip a pass through to Ferreira, and Ferreira deposits it in the top right corner. That was a dangerous play, but Josh Owen gets his 28th assist of the year on a miracle pass that gets right through into Lucas Ferreira, and Ferreira for the second time today, and now the 39th time of the season, scores. And NEC hanging in this contest. Down 4, Beacon 7, Pilgrims 3. So Josh Owen does get the assist, his 28th of the season, team high in that mark. That makes it a true 1-to-7 ratio For every 1 goal Josh Owen scores, he records 7 assists. Face-off infraction against the Pilgrims, so that is going to be a man-up goal scored by the Pilgrims. Both teams 1 for 1 in their man-up opportunities. Down to 70 seconds left here in the second quarter. Beacons leading 7-3, but past 2 goals have been scored by the Pilgrims. Admiran fakes a shot, goes to Claflin. Claflin tried to sneak it in past Catalano, and Benjamin right there to scoop up the rebound. Shot clock resets. Benjamin hands it off to Catalano. Yes, that was a great job of misdirection there, as Benjamin had me and a lot of, I think, some Beacons believing that the ball was in the defensive player in the left corner's possession. Instead, it was the goalie the whole time. Here comes Ferreira through the seam. Now we'll slide a pass over. Shot ripped. Missed everything by Owen. Copy almost won the race to that ball, but instead it goes to Ferreira. And here comes Lucas, working on a 2-goal afternoon and working against Patrick Carey. Into the middle of the field, into the slot. Down low, that pass is tipped, almost intercepted. It's deflected by Copy. Trevor can't quite win the race, and so the Pilgrims, 22 seconds left on the game clock. This ball might stay deep in the Beacons' defensive zone here for the rest of this half. Let's see what Drury wants to do with it. He walks in on Sprague, spins, gets a shot off. No, he doesn't. It's deflected by McCullough. Still loose in the middle of the defense here, still on the turf. Chopping at it, finally picking it up is Robert Sprague. Shot clock's going to reset. 6 seconds left as Copy launches one into the middle of the field. Admiran can't get it in time, and the horn will sound. We probably expected a lot more scoring than we've gotten up to this point, but the Beacons still looking good and still in control of this contest, leading by 4. It's halftime on senior night at James Cotter Field, a halftime that has the Beacons up front, 7-3. We'll take a quick break and be right back with some halftime numbers after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. We are back here at James Cotter Field, 7.5 minutes until we get started with the second half. Beacons leading the NEC Pilgrims 7-3. So, a little bit quiet game, I think, in terms of goals scored, just action. There's been a lot of turnovers in the middle of the field. Let's do a team-by-team stat summary. Beacons up 7-3, 7 goals on 6 assists for the Beacons, 3 goals on 2 assists for the Pilgrims. Beacons are out shooting NEC 25-18. Both teams 1 for 1 on the extra man opportunity. The Beacons have won more ground balls than NEC. They've taken 24 to NEC's 20, but that is still, against a team like this, I hate to say it, a little bit of lesser competition. You want that ratio to be higher. You want to be the team forcing and winning all of the ground balls, and that's a bit too close. 6 saves for Michael Catalano, 5 for Trevor Coppy. The Beacons, 9 of 11 clear opportunities. NEC, 12 of 17. Just having 17 clear opportunities against the Beacons, that's a number that's got to worry the Beaks coaching staff. And Beacons are winning in the face-off circle, 8 wins to 4 losses. Both teams cannot be pleased with this. 19 turnovers from NEC and 14 turnovers by the Beaks in the first half. All right, quick scoring summary for you. Not as many goals as we normally have at halftime of these games. The Beacons are up 7-3. In this order for the Beaks: Claflin, his 44th of the year; Przinski, his 17th of the year; Banks, his 31st of the year; Admirand, his 53rd of the year. Beacons scored 4 goals in the first quarter. Wolf, his 27th of the year; Patrick Carey, his 5th of the year; and with a man up, Claflin, his 2nd of the night and his 45th of the year. That's the Beacons 7. For the Pilgrims, Lucas Ferreira scoring his 39th goal of the season to make it a 2-1 in the first quarter. And then the last 2 goals of the contest scored by the Pilgrims. Thomas Norton, his 34th of the season, made it 7-2 Beaks. And then Ferreira, his 2nd of the afternoon. This one was with a man up, and his 40th of the season to bring the Pilgrims back to within 4 and gives us the score that we have now. Beacons 7, Pilgrims 3. Don't go anywhere. Second half is going to start in 5.5 minutes. We'll be back in 5, getting you ready for the second half action. One more half of the regular season here in this 2022 campaign, and then it's playoff time. We'll be right on back with second half action after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. Well, that was a quick halftime, folks. About 7.5 minutes on the running clock. We're back into it. Third quarter underway, and it gets started with a Beaks face-off win. Dobrzinski on senior night wins. Takes it across the timeline, and we're underway here with the third quarter with the Beacons up 7-3. Here's Luke Murphy. Slips a pass down low to Gavin Admirand. Gavin looks back towards the middle of the field. Przinski chops his feet, swings it back to Murphy. Looks like this is going to be Luke's possession here to operate, kind of quarterback the offense from the top of the perimeter, if you will. Banks and Murphy work a little two-man game. Now Luke starts his dodge. He's pushed off his mark, now looking for the pass. Instead, keeps his cradle alive, swings in and scores! Luke Murphy! Well, I thought he was turned off on that possession. I thought they were able to kind of shut him out. Instead, he just lowers the shoulder, starts his dodge, gets past everybody, and deposits it. And I believe for Luke, that brings him to double digits. 12th goal of the season to go along with 10 assists. Point number 22 of the year for Luke Murphy. And the Beacons back up 5. It's 8-3. That's a nice way to get back into the action. Just 7 goals in the first half for the Beaks. Didn't look all that good in the process, but they win another face-off. Palin thought about it, instead hands it off to Fahey. He was going to let it rip and sling it through. Dara Fahey from about 30 yards away on an angle beats Michael Catalano for the first time this afternoon, and the Beacons back-to-back goals less than 10 seconds apart. That's how you make a statement heading into the playoffs here. A team getting votes on the national scale, looking like a team to beat. Fahey scores, and that officially is his 34th goal of the year. He had one disallowed earlier on in this contest, but Dara finds Twine, and the Beacons back up 6. How about this? Another face-off win, and here come the Beacons. They can really stack goals together and pile on the momentum. And now Chris Palin going to go through the teeth of the Pilgrims' defense. He keeps his cradle alive. He finally gets dispossessed. Nice play defensively by Jake Secariccio. Called his name a couple of times already this afternoon. He'll get it back to the goalie Catalano, and the Pilgrims, they haven't stopped anything yet, but just putting a little bit of a tourniquet on this momentum building for the Beacons here to get this third quarter started. We're less than 2 minutes into the third quarter. We have 13:15 left. Beacons up 9-3, and that's going to be another neutral field turnover, an unforced error for the Pilgrims. You just throw that one away. 20th turnover of the afternoon already for NEC. Beacons with 14 in their own right. And maybe 15. Didn't want to have to throw the broadcaster curse out there. Great job by Beasley, though, to scoop it back in. And Fahey giving chase. He has to watch his momentum or else it's going to be an offsides. But it's won back in by the Beaks. How about that? So Beasley's effort pays off. And now he has it rumbling in around the right side of the defense. Hands it off to Admirand. Admirand. Back to the trailing Murphy. To Fahey in the middle. Fahey might have a window for the shot instead. Ducks his head. Swings back around the defense. Fakes the pass. Now fakes the whirlwind shot over to Murphy, who lets it rip and scores for the second time here in the third quarter. Murphy from Fahey, and those two players leading the Beacons' offensive surge here in quarter number 3. Murphy for the second time this afternoon, and the 13th time this season finds Twine, and the Beacons take their biggest lead of the afternoon. That's a 7-goal lead. They're up 10-3. Luke Murphy has been the player of this third quarter. He won, kind of beating 3 Pilgrims on a dodge to score the first goal of this third quarter. Then he set up Fahey on an assist to make it 9-3, and then he gets an assist from Dara Fahey to put the Beacons up 10-3. And now here comes Zach Mann trying to make it 4 in a row, and that's a brilliant save by Catalano. But it gets back out to Fahey, and back come the Beacons here. 8 saves now on the night for Michael Catalano. Admirand. Into a cutting Chapman. Chapman stops on a dime, reverses field to Myers. Myers fakes the shot. Thought about the pass to Chapman. Instead goes all the way back to Claflin. Claflin 2 goals early in the first half. Been quiet since. Not the best pass from Mann, but it gets to Myers. Here's Joe, one of 3 grad students on the Beacons team, celebrating his senior night here at Cotter Field. Just 20 seconds here. Chapman going to try and take on all comers himself. Nice save by Catalano. He makes another one. Goodness gracious. the sophomore out of Norwood, Massachusetts, keeping the Pilgrims in this contest. We've seen the Beacons in wins this season go up against very strong goalie play. Brendan Grove from WestCon, an example of that. Here's Lucas Ferreira. He has 2 goals this afternoon. Past the first wave of Beacon defenders. Over to Thomas Norton. Ultra-talented true freshman. Gives it back to Josh Owen. Owen to Drury with a head full of steam. Drury loses the ball on the dodge, but then it's going to be a late whistle, and that's going to go against Patrick Carey, who has committed his second foul of the afternoon. So Carey comes off for the Beacons. The last time he was sent off, Ferreira did score a man-up goal right before the end of the half. Patrick Carey enjoying a very solid junior season out of North Andover, Massachusetts. Just scored his 5th goal of the year earlier on in this game's second quarter. Pardon me, that was his 6th goal of the season. He came into action with 5 tonight. So my apologies to Patrick. He scored his 6th goal of the season, but has just committed his 2nd penalty tonight. And this is the second man-up opportunity for the Pilgrims. 1 of 1 on the man-up differential this evening. That ball was almost lost. Somehow it got over to Sam Crary. Right place, right time. And that is the 3rd member of the big goal-scoring trio for NEC. Hadn't heard too much from him this afternoon, but he's right where he needs to be to score his 32nd goal of the season and bring NEC back to within 6. It's Beacons 10, Pilgrims 4. Ferreira gets the assist on that play, and so Lucas Ferreira's impressive stat season continues. He now has 40 goals to go along with 28 assists, just 2 points away from 70 on the season for the super talented sophomore. Some good young talent here. NEC with under the leadership of head coach Jed Brown, who's in his 9th season up there in Henniker, New Hampshire. They've got a good young core and some young players that look very confident with the ball in their stick, especially at the midfield and attacking spot. And then some good veteran leadership out of David Benjamin back there on the back line for NEC. This is a team that you can see is kind of figuring out as they go, and solid showing from them here this afternoon at James Cotter Field. If nothing else, a great linchpin to swing into next season with and say, hey, look how we hung with a team that was in the national top 25 that last week of the season. There's Crary again, and a big play on defense by Robert Sprague. Crary had a wide open angle to the net, but the shot goes high and wide. This pass goes high and wide, but it's picked up and it goes right to Luke Murphy. Murphy to Claflin to Fahey, who tries to beat Catalano behind the back, and that's the 2nd time that Fahey has opted for a behind-the-back shot and hasn't been able to deposit it in the back of the net. It's senior night, and Dara, listen, I'm not telling him to not do that. I want to see Dara score behind-the-back goals and through-the-leg goals every opportunity, and it's senior night, so why not? But that's twice now. Hopefully 3rd time's going to be a charm. Long crossfield path, as the Pilgrims still do have a man up. Now the advantage is over, so the Beacons do win that differential. Palin comes on as the numbers are even, but that Ward will keep the ball in the Pilgrims' offensive zone with a fresh 60 on the shot clock. So we're back to even strength. Finally, we've had a run of differential play that hasn't led to a goal being scored. Beacons 1 of 1 on their man-up opportunities. Pilgrims now 1 for 2. Nong gets cut off. Has to go back towards Norton. Here's Lucas Ferreira. Head fake. Shot. Saved by Copy. Deflected out of bounds, though, and it will stay with the Pilgrims. We saw this. This is a lot what the first quarter looked like. The Beacons did get 2 early goals, and then NEC just kind of parked the bus. They took their time on offense. They even drained. They got a shot clock violation. You rarely ever see that. They drained a lot of long possessions, and that had us at a 4-1 game with not a lot of momentum at the end of the first quarter for the Beaks. And the Pilgrims doing the best they can to keep this game low scoring, low amount of possessions, and just maximize every chance they have close to the net. They didn't do so there. That's the 21st turnover of the game now committed by NEC, as Patrick Carey rumbling through. He just scored his 6th goal of the season, so no one's going to tell him no. Swings a pass back to Palin, over to Fahey, Dara, over to Gil Delvi. Around the perimeter they go. That's Gavin Admiran. Chops his feet. Keeps the ball in a right-handed cradle. Has a man wide open down low. It's Claflin, and he gets his hat trick. And Gavin Admiran gets the assist. Points all over the place for the pair of seniors. For Claflin, that is his 46th goal of the season now. For Admirand, he has 32 assists to go along with his 53 goals. And that is a big score that puts the Beacons back up 7. It's 11-4. Beacons up 11-4. Michael Claflin, his 46th goal of the season. He now has 83 points, 2 behind Admiran. Fahey trying to get in on the fun here. He chases down that loose ball as the Beaks win another faceoff. They're really starting to run away from the Pilgrims in the faceoff circle tonight. Little two-man game here. Murphy to Fahey. Fahey has 2 men marking him. Doesn't seem really concerned in the least bit by that. Claflin flashes open. Dara gives it to him. Claflin with his eyes back towards the middle of the field to Colin Ford, who snipes one, and it's saved by Catalano. That got through about 3 defenders, and it almost caught the top left corner. But Catalano, another big save. He's definitely going to want to save this highlight reel for himself. Now cutting right through the middle of the Beacons defense is Benjamin, and he doesn't loft a pass. Instead, he's going to take it across the middle of the field himself. Now he looks towards the center, swings it back to Owen. Owen towards the middle. His pass goes wide, but it's saved by Thomas Norton. Josh Owen really does have a plan. You can see how he's racked up that many assists on the season. They get it back to him. He'll reverse course over to Fednor Drury. Drury's had some pop. Very good, quick start. Good acceleration out of him. It's like he flips the switch and then gets shot out of a cannon. 28 on the shot clock here for the Pilgrims. Once again, really just trying to slow this contest down. We've had 4 Beacons goals already here in the third quarter. Just 1 for the Pilgrims. Here's Sam Crary. He was the one to score it. Gets cut off, tries to lower his shoulder into Luke Murphy. Great job marking him on defense there by Murph. Drury can't get around Rinaldi. Or pardon me, that's Ranta pestering him. And now that pass goes to the middle of the field. Ferreira has to just get off a shot as there was 1 second left on the shot clock. He misses everything, and so that's it. That's a shot clock for the second time now, a shot clock violation committed by NEC, and it's really their only recourse at this point as the Beacons kind of solidly have asserted. Wow, and another turnover there by the Beaks. I just wanted to talk about the Beaks asserting kind of their dominance, if you will, on this game, but it's hard to say that with that lax of a pass leading to a turnover like that. But what I mean is, this is NEC's only recourse here. If the Beacons keep getting offensive opportunities, more often than not, they're going to result in goals. And so, if NEC wants to keep this game close, keep this scoreline respectable, you just drain the shot clock as long as you can, hope that maybe your shot might hit the frame or might score, and even if not, then you can reset the shot clock and reset your possession. So that's what you see here. Not a true stall tactic because, you have the shot clock, but the Pilgrims don't seem to be in any rush to get a shot on net. And instead, that pass lofted towards the middle of the defense. It's intercepted by Donovan Przinski, and now Przinski makes 2 men miss his mark, and here he goes. Donovan, pass right into the middle, and Admiran loses it, but he picks it up right outside of the crease. He'll give it to Fahey. Dara Fahey behind the net. Fakes the pass. Now he gets it to Claflin on the left wing. Back to Fahey. 2-man game. Fahey scoops behind the net. Has a man cutting in front. It was actually Patrick Carey who was trying to set up to get that pass. He comes off as Charlie Chapman and becomes the 6th offensive player on. Admiran behind the net to Dara Fahey. Fahey taking his time as now the Beacons kind of matching the Pilgrim strategy here to wind the shot clock down. Big save by Catalano as Admiran went for the high-to-low rip. Michael Catalano came to play today, ladies and gentlemen. That is save number 12 on the afternoon for the sophomore out of Norwood. It's been a chore for NEC just to get the ball out of their defensive zone. That was almost intercepted. It's in the hands of their best player, Lucas Ferreira. He's far away from the net here. Tries to dodge a shoulder. Can't get around Patrick Carey. So Fednor Drury is going to try and do it himself. Drury, a freshman. From Newton. How about Robert Sprague forcing another cause turnover? He'll win the ground ball. No whistle on that play. Yeah, so it'll just be a turnover. I thought Sprague might have felt the foul there from Drury after winning the ground ball. Instead, it goes out of bounds, but great individual effort. Nice cross-field pass here. And running in head full of steam. Down low they go. That was a beautiful 1-2 punch. It's TJ Nong down low to Sam Crary. And for the second time here in the third period, Crary finds Twine. The Pilgrims let the Beacons get one back, and then they take it right back. We're back to a 6-goal game. It's Beacons 11, Pilgrims 5. For Crary, he becomes one of 2 players now with 35 goals on the season. The key scoring trio of Ferreira, Norton, and Crary, they have been busy this afternoon. Ferreira with 2, Crary with 2, and Norton with 1. Much needed face-off win here for the Beacons. And a very unneeded turnover right there, as that was Claflin who just couldn't field that pass in. Not going to be fun to take a look at the turnover numbers for either teams once this game is over. There's a little bit of a salve on that for the Beacons with them currently leading by 6 goals. Catalano a little bit of trouble getting that pass, but he corrals it. You see, NEC, they run a lot of plays to have midfielders running through with momentum to create angles. And they do create angles, but they also create open space when the pass isn't completed cleanly. And Admirand to Fahey, and a beautiful save from Catalano. Wow, that was almost a 3-on-1 with Delvi having his choice of Admirand and Fahey. He went to Admirand, who slid the pass over to Fahey, and Catalano with his 13th save of the night. This score could be a lot different if Michael Catalano did not come off the bus ready to play here at Cotter Field. So now Gavin Admirand and Dara Fahey, they'll get right back to it here for the Beaks with a fresh 60 on the shot clock. Przinski scored a goal early in the first quarter. Wings it around to Admirand. Admirand's pass deflected. Jake Secaricio having himself a good game back there for the Pilgrims. Kid's going to step into one. And another save by Catalano, his 14th of the afternoon. Didn't test him all that much. Now I think he wants to do a little ball handling, and the Beacons are going to let him. Beacons lead 11-5 here. The Pilgrims running one of those plays here with some sweeping action across the middle of the field. That pass intended for Drury. He can't get it cleanly. Sprague does. Stays in bounds and gets the pass over to Fahey. Great job by Robert Sprague. Now Dara Fahey through everybody, rumbling in, and another save from Catalano. The shot rebounded by Admirand. Pilgrims out of position, but Admirand going to walk it back in. Slings it over to Elijah Beasley, who gets it out to Luke Murphy, and the Beaks are going to change their offensive personnel here. Michael Catalano standing on his head. Beacons leading 11-5. Chapman dodging in. Gets around Drury, then stops, goes behind the net to Claflin. Claflin's pass to Fahey. Low to high shot and saved again by Catalano. Sound like a broken record right now, but this man is seeing the ball well and making the stops. And now here comes Nicholas Durain. Wow, he got decleated by Chapman on the play. He gets the pass off. Durain going to take a slow run back to his bench as NEC gets their offensive personnel ready to go here. That ball almost turned over at midfield. Chapman giving chase. He chops at it. He gets it. He wins it. Takes it across the timeline. Beacons have a 3-on-3. Chapman goes to Fahey. He has Claflin on the right post. Gives it back to Chapman. Chapman to a cutting Murphy, and that shot misses everything. You could give Catalano credit for another save if you want because he got his stick on that one, but that one was shot wide by Murphy. Beacons setting up these plays nice. Good runs on net. Just doing everything but putting it in the back of the net. Still leading 11-5, but we're under the 1 minute mark left in the third quarter here. A lot of opportunities left on the table. Przinski goes down low to Fahey. Fahey chops his feet. Feels a second dodge. He'll keep it in his cradle. 41 seconds left on the clock. Shot clock is off. Chapman almost loses it deep on the left side of the perimeter. They keep it alive. They go back to Fahey. Over to Mick Flynn. That shot is ripped from Admirand. It misses wide. Claflin will get to it. So 27 seconds left here in the third quarter. Beacons don't want to squander this opportunity. Want to get at least one more here if possible in the third quarter. Will it be Admiran doing it? No, it'll be Claflin doing it. Admiran got it back to Michael Claflin, and for the fourth time this afternoon, Michael Claflin finds the back of the net. Have yourself a nice senior night, kid. It's his fourth of the night, his 47th of the season, and right before the end of the third quarter, the Beacons do take that 7-goal lead, tying their largest lead of the contest, 12-5. Beacons are leading. 4 of those goals scored by one of the senior leaders, Michael Claflin. McNeely wins the faceoff, and he slings it ahead to Admiran. Admiran fakes the pass over to Zach Mann, but the Beacons with 10 seconds here to get a shot on net. Pass goes down low, shot scores, and it's Claflin again! This time Jack Ranto with the assist, and Michael Claflin, how do you do? 5 goals tonight, and with that goal, Michael Claflin has now tied 2 other players in the Beacons' all-time scoring run. He entered this game 19th with 110 points. He is now by himself, he passes the 2 players, the 18th and 17th. Claflin is now by himself 16th all-time points scored for the Beacons. He is now up to 117. 5 goals, 2 assists tonight. Good stuff for the senior. So let's see, can the Pilgrims get a shot off here? Josh Owen getting pestered. He'll rip one. It will be saved by Christian Meinhold. That's the first time we've even called Christian's name as he came into play here in the third quarter. He will launch it back down the field, and that will bring us to the end of quarter number 3. Michael Claflin coming alive, and the Beacons just took their largest lead of the night. We'll take one more quick break and be back for the fourth and final quarter, the final quarter of the 2022 regular season, after this on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. Getting ready here for the fourth and final quarter. Hi atop James Cotter Field. How are you guys doing? My name is Chris Del Sordo, bringing you the action tonight. The Beacons up 13-5. 6 goals scored in that third quarter. It was really a quarter much needed, but Beacons didn't really come alive until the last 2 minutes, with Michael Claflin scoring 3 goals in about the final 4 minutes of that third quarter, including 2 in the final minute and a half. He has 5 of the Beacons' 13 this afternoon, and finally, this game is starting to take the shape of what we thought it would have been the entire time, which was a bit of a Beacons waltz. Now, that isn't to say there hasn't been bright spots this afternoon. Michael Catalano playing a phenomenal game in net, and then 2 defensemen, David Benjamin and Jake Secaricio, each having great games on the back end of the Pilgrims defense. I tell you what, if any one of those 3 guys didn't show up today, this game might already be in the 20s for the Beaks. But they're getting held down a bit here, and NEC, lively bunch. Still some exotic-looking plays, I might say. Some plays that I've never really seen before on a lacrosse field, but they're still giving it the good try here, and dodging it in is Devin Sager, the junior. He lost it. It's scooped up out of midair, and it's going to get knocked into the net by Lucas Ferreira. Let's see what the ruling is here. It looked like a good goal to me. Yes. So Lucas Ferreira, head on a swivel, gets his 41st goal of the season, his 3rd of the night, and it does get 1 back for NEC. Looking pretty impressive in this non-conference till tonight. Back to a 7-goal game. It's Beacons 13, Pilgrim 6. So Ferreira, that's his 3rd of the night, his 41st of the season. It brings his team high total in points up to 68. So a nice cherry on top of a brilliant sophomore season for the attack man out of Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Beaks, which they've done a lot, is win the face-off after allowing the goal and just really quashing any momentum from building for NEC. Kidd couldn't feel that pass back from Murphy cleanly, but he gets it over to Przinski and runs the two-man game. Murphy, one-on-one, goes to the left-handed cradle, slings it over to Claflin. Actually all the way back to Kidd. Thought that was to a cutting Admiran. Kidd threw a screen, and the save is made by Catalano yet again, and now the run out here for the Pilgrims, almost not handled cleanly by Joey Olsen, but he does pick it up, and the Pilgrims into the Beacon zone. Ferreira just scored his third goal of the contest. Only 2 players with hat tricks tonight. Claflin with 5 for the Beaks. Ferreira with 3 for the Pilgrims. Looking towards the middle of the field, Connor Smith. Now he hands it off to Fednor Drury. Drury lofts a pass into the middle. That's going to be a foul against the Beacons right in the middle of the defense. 2 referees staring right at that action, and kind of an ill-fated pass from Drury, but it got to his target, Ferreira, who felt the Beacons' contact and was almost a good stop from the Beaks. Instead, fresh 60 on the shot clock. And the Pilgrims reset their offense, winding it deep in the corner with Thomas Norton. Norton 1 goal this afternoon. He's second on the team now with 34 for NEC. Thought he was trying to shake off his mark there, maybe get himself a one-on-one opportunity. Instead, they go back to TJ Nong. 2 assists this afternoon for Nong. Being a bit of a catalyst in the midfield area for the Pilgrims. Around the outside goes Lucas Ferreira. He can't shake the mark of Patrick Carey. He got the pass over to Sam Crary, whose shot hits the post, and a big save by Christian Meinhold on the rebound attempt keeps it out of the net. Pilgrims playing tough here. They were a centimeter away from their 7th goal of the night, but Christian Meinhold, he'll say thank you to the post after that stop, and then he makes a save a couple of seconds after that. Now the ball is lost, carried into the crease, and it's picked up by Patrick Carey, taking it out of trouble. Carey's going to keep the cradle alive and do it himself. Now he'll loft a pass over everybody to Robert Sprague, so a defense-to-defense play. Let's see how bad does Sprague want a point. Instead, he'll sling it over to Fahey. He stays as the last attack man on, and he'll finally come off for Charlie Chapman. So Przinski gets it back to Chapman. Charlie will initiate the offense as he has Jacob Banks sliding on through. Wow, Banks bowls over a man, keeps his cradle alive, and gets it over to Claflin. 5 goals tonight for Michael. Fakes the pass, goes over to Admiran. Admiran winding the shot, and another save by Catalano that hit off the inside of his knee, it looked like, but he makes another save. Pass across the defense to Banks. Down low to Claflin. Fahey tried to go for a little trick shot there. It's deflected, but it goes right to Michael Claflin. Claflin, a no-look pass to Admiran, and it's saved. Wow, I thought that was a goal. Unbelievable save from Catalano as Claflin had Admiran, who looked to have nothing but the net in front of him, and somehow Catalano makes another save. This is unreal goaltending that we are seeing out of Michael Catalano. And now here comes David Benjamin, unmarked. He'll walk into one and miss everything, but the Pilgrims will get to start their offense behind the Beacon's net. Michael Catalano, have yourself a night. Long hair, don't care. He has been all over the place for this Pilgrims defense, and that, what looked to have been a sure 2nd goal of the night for Gavin Admiran, instead kept out. Pilgrims back on the offensive here, trailing your Beacons by 7. 10:40 left to go in this contest. Beacons leading 13-6. Here's Owen. 1 assist tonight, bringing his team high up to 28. Great deflection by Carey, but it still gets to Ferreira. Ferreira, head on a swivel, low shot, deflected. Getting chased down by the Beaks. Pilgrims are going to win the race to the sideline. That's just the 3rd save made by Christian Meinhold since coming in here to start the 2nd half. Very impressive first half out of Trevor Coppy. Three goals, but he did make, I believe, 6 saves in that first half. Thomas Norton from the X behind the net. Wow, his pass just intercepted by McCullough. Justin McCullough just plucked that one out of thin air. And now he's rumbling ahead to Charlie Chapman. Lofts it over to Charlie. Charlie running through the Pilgrims defense. Wow, he ducked his shoulder and he almost slipped through the triple team. He gets dispossessed, but the ball will stay with the Beaks. Charlie's going to go to the deep corner to bring it in. We're at the 10-minute mark left in this contest. UMass Boston leading 13-6 over the New England College Pilgrims. Around the perimeter they go. Michael Claflin having the game of note for the Beaks, 5 of their 13 goals. A couple of assists as well tonight for number 20. Joe Myers swings it out wide on the dodge before looking down low to Fahey. Fahey against Secaricio. Instead will go to Chapman. Chapman thinks twice about the shot, hands it off to Murphy. Murphy, right-handed cradle. Can't get around his mark. And ultimately that one's going to get plucked out of the way by Catalano. He's done everything else. Why not just play some traditional defense? Slings the pass up ahead to Durain. And now Nicholas Durain, we've seen him kind of play that ball mover role, bring it into the zone. It's going to be a foul against the Pilgrims, pardon me, and we'll go back the other way. Carry over to Fahey, quickly working are the Beaks. Fahey, little dodge through 2 defenders, and that was too easy. Dara Fahey for the second time tonight and for the 35th time this season finds Twine, and he'll celebrate senior night with a multi-goal game. Beacons tying their largest lead of the night. Largest lead has only been 8, but they're back at 8 again. Now they're up 14-6. Very pretty goal there by Dara Fahey. Kind of toying with his first defender, and the angle he took opened up an alley. He lowers his shoulder, gets through both defenders, and deposits the goal past Catalano. 14th goal of the afternoon. 8 combined goals for Fahey, Claflin, and Admiran. The trio of goal scorers over the 40 goal or over the 35 goal mark for the Beaks. Claflin got that ball out of trouble, but then his pass was intended for Brzezinski, and it goes right over Donovan's head. There have been some openings in this midfield, which, I guess it looks very tempting to try and loft these passes over the first level of midfield defense. But a lot of unforced error turnovers today for the Beacons. You obviously are not going to get away with that in even the LEC conference tourney, let alone any NCAA tournament play here. So those plays going to be worth noting. Benjamin, second attempt at a shot on goal here, and this one saved by Meinhold. Not the cleanest shot attempt from David Benjamin, but he's been doing everything else well for the Pilgrims. Can't fault him to want to try and get a shot on net. This is his last game of his career, true senior. Benjamin with 1 goal and 2 assists on the year. Can't fault the man for trying. Substitutions being made here is Sprague and Claflin coming off. Fahey will go back on. Ferreira just waiting for the go-ahead from the referee. Clock is wound. Ferreira passes it into Nong, and we're back underway. Quick moving contest here at Cotter Field. We have 8 minutes left, about 8:19 left in the fourth quarter. Pilgrims circling it around the perimeter. Ferreira had a good contest up to this point. Beacons don't let him take it that close to the net. That pass intended for, I believe that was Quint Bartos joining the offensive attack there. He can't field it cleanly, and ultimately, as he has done a lot today, Patrick Carey, the Johnny on the spot, to clear that one out of trouble. And Big 1-5 will walk it kind of back into the corner before slinging it over to Justin McCullough. McCullough gives it to Meinhold, and it's Christian Meinhold that will initiate the clear. Although his pass was intended for Shane McGonigal, it gets by Shane. And it was for a moment back in NEC possession, but they give it right back out of bounds. And so the aforementioned Shane McGonigal is going to walk it back into play for the Beaks. He turns it over again, 2 straight plays with a turnover for McGonigal. He enjoyed a big multi-goal game against ECSU on Saturday. But 2 turnovers there. And now rumbling in is Joey Olsen. Gets a shot on net. It's saved by Meinhold, and I think Meinhold's going to be the closest to it. Yes, he is. So some effort in net, and then some extra effort fielding his position, if you will. And the Beacons, with an 8-goal lead, get a fresh 80 seconds on the shot clock. And let's see how they just try and bleed this clock away. They're going to let Luke Murphy do what he does best, and that's take on all comers and get it through the midfield. Luke slings it over to Donovan Brzezinski, and here we go. It's going to be Fahey and Brzezinski as we are under the 7-minute mark, 6:55 left to go. Fahey, 2 goals today, vying for the hat trick, just misses it high. Quick release there from Dara. Didn't seem like he had that good of an angle, but he's able to get that low shot ready to go. He just misses it high over the head of Catalano. We mentioned Trevor Coppy started in net for the Beaks. It's Christian Meinhold in net now. Don't think Michael Catalano is going to be coming out of net anytime soon because he just made another save. That is unreal. Jacob Banks at point-blank range vying for his second goal of the night, and instead another save for Michael Catalano. Wow. But Admiran still with it in that dangerous spot right behind the net. Pass over to Fahey. Fahey shot, deflected, out of bounds. It'll stay with the Beaks, down to 48 on the shot clock here. Michael Catalano, probably the best 14-goal allowed performance you're going to see. As Jacob Banks gets it into Greg Wolf. Wolf scored his 27th goal of the season a little earlier this afternoon. Admiran to a cutting Fahey. That was too easy. Oh, no, pardon me. That's Jacob Banks. Jacob Banks, who is the fifth 30-goal scorer on the season for the Beaks, just scored his second of the night on the Admiran feed. And the Beacons take their largest lead of the contest. They finally get that 9-goal lead, and they go up 15-6. There's that movie, The Usual Suspects, and that is what the Beacons' goal scoring has taken the shape of tonight. Claflin with 5, Fahey with 2, Banks with 2, Admiran with 1, and the Beacons with a 15-6 lead. Another turnover by NEC. That number is starting to get up into uncomfortable territory for the Pilgrims. Meinhold gets it to Chapman. Charlie takes it across the timeline here, and the Beacons right back at it, trying to get a 10-goal lead. That one almost slipped by Catalano. That would have been a Wolf goal, but instead, Catalano ultimately corrals it and keeps it out of trouble for the Pilgrims. Nice to see there the Beacons, and this has been a really slow fourth quarter. They finally break that little scoreless drought, and then they just immediately try and go back at it and score again. You like to see that. Benjamin can't really do anything with it. The ball's still on the turf. It's ultimately picked up. Fahey scoops it up, and it's going to be a penalty against NEC whenever this possession stops, unless that's going to go against Myers away from the play. That's crazy. I would have sworn that if any penalty would have been, would have blown that play dead, it would have gone against the Beaks, but no. It's Patrick Carey back in the sin bin. Third penalty committed by Patrick today. He has committed all 3 Beacons penalties. NEC 1 of 2 in their prior man-up opportunities. Beacons 1 for 1 in their lone man-up opportunity. So Rinaldi, who had a lot of playing time at the start of this senior night, he's back on. In a big moment here, Beacons playing with a man down, trying to hold this 9-goal lead. Low shot, and they will not do that because Thomas Norton, for the second time today and the 35th time this season, finds twine. And now officially that means, and congratulations to the Pilgrims for this, they do have 3 different 35-goal scorers. If Banks could get to Banks could get 3 more than the Beacons would have 5 themselves, but 3 different 30-goal scorers now for NEC on this 2020 season as Thomas Norton scores his second goal of the night and his 35th of the year. And it brings NEC back to within 8. So that number stays at 9 for the Beacons' largest lead of this contest. Dobrzinski wins the faceoff, and then he wins the ground ball. Looks to Admiran. Admiran, pass across the shot and scores, and it's Jack Ranta. Have yourself a senior night, number 13. And the crowd letting Jack hear it. The first goal of the season for Ranta, his second point of the year, and it's off a beautiful feed. Everybody giving Jack the round of applause he deserves on this senior night. Goal number 1 of the season. And the Beacons back up by 9. It's 16-7. Called Ranta's name a lot in the early of this contest. He playing midi, most of the time Jack long stick midi. But one of the key defensive cogs here, especially in the defensive midfield, and he was put to work quite a bit in the early going of this contest. It's awesome to see him get into the flow of the offense naturally And that was a rip shot from Ranta. That was nothing easy. He picked his corner and hit it, and he puts the Beacons back up 9-16-7. We're at the final 4 minutes and 20 seconds of this contest. Beacons haven't gone up by 10 at any point, trying to get their first double-digit lead of the night. They've had 2 separate 9-goal leads. Now they have their 10-goal lead. It's Gavin Admirand, his second goal of the night. Everybody having fun now. Claflin with 5, Admirand with 2, Fahey with 2, Banks with 2, and the Beacons up by 10. It's Beacons 17, Pilgrims 7. For Gavin, no big deal, just his 54th goal of the season. 2 goals and 2 assists tonight for Gavin, who is up to 87 points now on the season. Dobrzinski looked to lose that faceoff to Bartosz. He comes back trying to win the ground ball, and he'll commit the foul, so we'll go back left to right with the Pilgrims in possession here. Under 4 minutes left, 3:55 on a running clock here at Cotter Field, as the Beacons just counting down the seconds until their record moves to 15-2, and the real fun, that in the LEC Conference Tournament, starts. Carey almost deflected that one. The pass does get all the way out to Josh Owen. Over to Thomas Norton, who just ripped from the far side. Shot misses. He gets his own rebound back. And they'll go back around the perimeter to Owen. Owen tries to throw his left shoulder in the defender. Doesn't really clear any room. Behind the net they go. Into the center. Wow. Sliding save by Christian Meinhold. He just robbed Lucas Ferreira. And that's going to be a penalty away from the play against the Pilgrims. So great defensive presence there by Meinhold. Here comes Zach Mann all the way into the offensive zone. Across the field they go, and it's Fahey scoring from the Claflin feed. That took about 5 seconds to get the ball back down the field. Mann to Claflin to Dara Fahey. And Fahey gets himself a senior night hat trick, his 3rd goal of the night, and his 36th of the season. And the Beacons take their largest lead of the night. It's up to 11 with 3 minutes left to go. Beacons are up 18-7. That was so beautiful. That might have been the goal of the night, and it was such a beautiful touch pass from Claflin and an athletic goal from Dara Fahey. McNeely wins the faceoff. We've seen him score 6 goals after winning the faceoff. He just tried for 7. Admiran got in front, and his deflection on that is going to mean that the ball goes back to the Pilgrims. Oh, never mind. Okay, it looked like the ref was motioning everybody back the other way. Shot clock will get bumped up 5 more seconds, get back to 60. Claflin, who has had a game to remember, 5 goals and 3 assists on his senior night. He might have more than 3. We have him for at least 3 right now. Already 8 points. Running in, trying to get another goal is Jacob Banks, who has 2 this afternoon. Jacob, just a sophomore. A lot of good lacrosse in the future out of him. You're still going to have Gavin Admirand back this next season. Greg Wolf, Charlie Chapman. Team's in the middle of a fun run this season. The future is very bright here for the Beaks out on the peninsula. Durain. Pass down low to Ferreira. Head fake. Ferreira. Shot misses. Wow. He had Meinhold beat, but he just missed over the top of the net. Nice break there by Christian Meinhold, as Lucas Ferreira does not miss from that range often. Into the deep corner they go. Ferreira now instead passes it over to his teammate Thomas Norton, who just cranked his 35th goal of the season. Fednor Drury. Nice dodge there to get through. His shot blocked off the foot of Robert Sprague. You can see Sprague coming up limping a little bit. Fahey's going to get the ground ball. Wow, and take on 2 defenders and get it out of trouble. And now he gets to Carey with a head full of steam. Carey down the left seam. Cross-field pass intended for Banks, and it's plucked at the last second and intercepted by, I believe that's Thomas Doe. Nice to see Doe back on the field after he had a collision with Charlie Chapman and hadn't seen him really since. His shot goes wide. Beacon's closest to it. And that was actually Andrew Norwegian running the ball up. So Thomas Doe not back into this contest. Not yet, at least. Not that we've seen. Norwegian's shot goes wide. Beacon's back with it now. Murphy over to Claflin. Claflin. That crossfield pass was vying for his 4th assist of the night towards Jacob Banks. Banks has been springy. He's been a goal-scoring threat. He has 2 tonight, but he couldn't get his stick to that one. Beacon's keeping the main crop of rotational players here kind of expected this to be a game that they would be able to empty the bench on. Instead, more of a low-scoring, closer-fought contest that we initially anticipated. Another turnover for the Pilgrims here. Banks behind the net. Over to Kidd. Back to Banks. Beautiful play, and he deposits it. Banks started that play. Kidd gets the assist, but Banks finishes the play with his third goal. The 4 leading goal scorers for the Beacons, all with hat tricks tonight. And for Banks, it's his 33rd of the season. He was our player to watch coming into action tonight, showing you why there. As the Beacons go up 12, it is 19-7. Funny, the Beacons have actually already won 3 games this season by a scoreline of 19-7. They have 1 minute and 13 seconds left there to try and break that streak and get themselves the 20th goal. Dobrzinski doesn't win the faceoff. Instead, that's Quint Bartush getting the win. He fakes the peel behind the net. Now he does go over to Lucas Ferreira. X marks the spot for him right behind the net. Over to Thomas Norton. Right-handed dodge as both teams changing their personnel. Delvi coming on midfield D for the Beaks. Sager coming on as the extra midfield attacker for the Pilgrims. Norton going to spin it all the way back out to midfield. The Pilgrims reverse field to Drury. Drury wins his dodge. Hasn't really been able to get many shots off after winning the initial dodge. Behind the net they go. Norton spins. He's got an angle on Meinhold. Meinhold, big save. He's got a huge frame, and that's the difference between Copy and Meinhold. With Copy, you have a player very good with the stick, but a small body. You can shoot it at the body and get it past him. You shoot at Christian Meinhold's body, it's probably going to hit something. That ball almost turned over as we are at 15 seconds left on a running clock. One last goal-scoring opportunity for the Pilgrims. It's Sager. His pass gets deflected, it goes out of bounds, and there is 7 seconds left. And the 2022 UMass Boston Beacons will end the regular season 15-2. They will be the number 1 seed heading into the LEC Conference Tournament as this ball is lofted in. Admiran can't get a shot off. Beacons don't need it anyway. Score is final. Beacons end the regular season 15-2 with a resounding 19-7 win over the New England College Pilgrims. Once again, with the win, Beacons move to 15-2 on the season. They will be the number 1 seed in the LEC Conference Tournament, and their LEC Conference Tournament quarterfinal will be here on Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is this Thursday, Cinco de Mayo, at 1:30 in the afternoon on James Cotter Field. We're going to take a quick break. We will give you the game's final numbers and the scoring summary right after this on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. "17 games this regular season for the UMass Boston Beacons, and 15 of them ending victoriously, including tonight's senior night. Sorry about that. Including tonight's senior night triumph over the NEC Pilgrims, 19-7. One final look at the game's final numbers. The Beacons outscoring the Pilgrims 19-7, 16 Beacons assists to 6 for the Pilgrims. The Beacons 58 shots to just 39 from the Pilgrims. NEC ended up 2 of 4 in their extra man opportunities. The Beacons 1 for 2. The Beacons 53 ground balls won to just 36 for the Pilgrims. 19 saves made by Michael Catalano. He was 1 away from that 20 save mark. It was a great night for him. So 20 goals allowed, but 20 saves. 13 saves, 6 made by Trevor Coppy, 7 made by Christian Meinhold. The Beacons win 19 times to 11 in the face-off circle. They forced they caused 15 turnovers. They committed 21. The Pilgrims ultimately commit 36 turnovers. So, pretty solid win. Any way you want to look at those numbers, here's a quick run through the scoring summary. First for the NEC Pilgrims. In the first quarter, just 1 goal for the Pilgrims. Lucas Ferreira scored his 39th of the season. In the second quarter, Thomas Norton scored his 34th. Lucas Ferreira scored his 2nd of the night and his 40th of the year with a man up. They scored 3 goals in the first 2 quarters. Then, Sam Crary scored 2 goals in the third quarter, his 34th and 35th of the year, bringing the Pilgrims' goal total to 5 for the night. And the last 2 goals, Lucas Ferreira, his 3rd of the night, 41st of the season. He ends the season with 41 goals. And Thomas Norton, his 2nd of the night and 35th of the season. That is how NEC got to 7 goals. For the Beacons, a lot of Michael Claflin's name. We will just go through it chronologically. Claflin, his 44th. Przinski, his 17th. Banks, his 31st. Admirand, his 53rd. Those were the 4 goals scored by the Beacons in the first quarter. Wolf, his 27th. Patrick Carey, his 6th. Claflin, with a man up, his 2nd of the night and 45th of the season. Those were the 7 goals in the first half by the Beaks. Luke Murphy, his 12th. Dara Fahey, his 34th. Then Luke Murphy, his 2nd of the night, 13th of the season. Followed by 3 straight goals by Michael Claflin, his 3rd, 4th, and 5th of the night, 46th, 47th, and 48th of the season, respectively. He'll end the night with 48 goals. And in the fourth quarter, Dara Fahey, his 2nd of the night, 35th of the year. Jacob Banks, his 2nd of the night, 32nd of the year. Jack Ranta scored his 1st goal of the season. Gavin Admirand, his 2nd of the night and 54th of the year. And then Fahey and Banks each complete their hat tricks, scoring their 36th and 33rd goals of the year, respectively. And that is how the Beacons got to 19 goals. It takes a village to get these broadcasts underway here, and for the final time this regular season, we're about to sign off on the Beacon Broadcasting Network. We couldn't have done it without our production crew, our producer, Dave Wahlberg, our director, Maria Spilios, and on the camera, Sage Sori. My name is Chris Del Sordo. Thank you so much for spending this Friday night with us. The Beacons win their 15th contest of the 2022 regular season, and they move on to the playoffs on Thursday with a 1:30 day game, and that is Thursday the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Wherever you guys are going around Beaconville, we ask that you drive there safely. Thanks so much for listening in to us tonight. Beacons win, so roll Beaks.